What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this month's meeting. As usual, I'm your host, Draith, and hopefully everyone's been having a pretty good month so far. I know that we've been ultra busy as usual. So let's get rolling through the news. So first thing I want to mention is that thank you so much for all the community members out there that submitted their flags for the contest. We had announced the winners and such, and there was, I think it was over 100, or what was it, either 70 or 80 different flags, which was absolutely fantastic to see. There was just a lot of community effort, and there's some really good choices that we still have to choose from as far as the team goes, but the community voted heavily in favor for several ones which were absolutely fantastic. So hats off to the entire community on that for voting and submitting, and as well as a huge shout out to Low Fat Milk for throwing in the R to give to the winners and such. So appreciate all of that. Now, one of the things that I keep getting asked is about wrapped R, or as we dub it, WAR. So I'm proud to say that WAR should be available by the end of this month. And for those of you who don't know what WAR is, as it says, wrapped R, and it's going to be available on Binance Smart Chain. And essentially what it allows you to do is it allows you to wrap your R and then have it on Binance Smart Chain and then trade it on PancakeSwap and whatnot. But the other cool feature of it is that it basically breaks linkages between wallets. Now, how the way that's done, for example, is if you have two Binance Smart Chain wallets, and then you purchase WAR with one of them, or you get it from somewhere, doesn't matter. You can unwrap it to an R address and then rewrap it to the other address, and now those two wallets are not linked, thanks to, obviously, zk-SNARKs. So there's no direct connection between those two wallets, and there's nothing to trace to get to that other wallet, which is fantastic. As I said, that will be available in end of this month, at the latest beginning of July. But my goal is to get it out by end of this month, which I don't foresee any issues with it. So the other thing is that it rewards liquidity stakers as well. So for those of you that aren't in DeFi, basically with the way PancakeSwap, Uniswap, and all the other places like that work, is that users can provide liquidity and they get rewarded for it through their own liquidity system. However, to mitigate like impermanent loss and things like that, additional measures need to be put in, which in this case, anytime there's a transfer, for example, transferring, meaning like buying or selling or sending to another wallet, things like that, there's a 1% fee that's imposed. Now, what happens with that fee is that half of that goes to the liquidity stakers. So when you provide liquidity in that pair, like say, for example, WAR BNB, right? You provide liquidity in that pair, and then from that point, you can stake it on, it would be on another website where you can stake the liquidity. And then what that means is that now that liquidity is locked in place, and you will start pulling in some of the rewards that come from the transfer fees. So this way, if the price shoots up or goes down, doesn't matter, you'll still get, a percentage of those rewards that come in, which over time will eliminate any impermanence loss that may occur. Now, impermanence loss is a long explanation, so I encourage you guys to look that up to understand what I'm saying. If you don't understand from the get-go, that is. But for those who understand, yeah, you get what I'm saying. Now, the other half of a percent would go to Pirate Chain itself for, hiring developers, like basic marketing, all that fun stuff. This way, we're less reliant on the community for funding, which you guys have been super gracious and super helpful and super generous when it comes to donating to Pirate Chain to further the cause and things like that. But at the same time, and at least in my personal opinion, I hate having to kind of lean on the community for funding. If we can be semi-self-sufficient, or at least have some sort of revenue stream come in for the project to be able to fund things without having to go to the community all the time, to me, that's the best way to go about it. And war is one of those ways that we could do that, which is fantastic. So we've done several interviews lately, one of which was with Journalism, which is a massive, massive channel. And on top of that, I was on Journalism during one of his, it was basically one of his subscriber events where he, answers people's questions, helps people out with their wallets, teaches people how to do things. So Fleet Captain Cax, as well as me, were on there, basically answering people's questions, essentially doing like an AMA style event to tons and tons of people, which is absolutely fantastic. They're huge supporters of us now, and have been for a little while. Same with, obviously Crypto Vigilantes, Survival Podcast, and so forth. We're starting to expand our borders, which is fantastic, to encompass all these different communities. Because the cool thing is, in my opinion, is that basically it doesn't matter what you think as far as, or your personal beliefs or opinions. We're all tied together with one common goal, with one common belief, and that's financial privacy, and it's being eroded by outside individuals, or entities, I should say. And we're trying to get that back. We're fighting to get our privacy back. And it's just great to see all these different communities that are completely different from one another rallying around Pirate Chain, and that's absolutely fantastic. So in news of exchanges, Digifinex was the most recent exchange that we just got listed on, which is huge because they're a top-tier exchange. And it's absolutely fantastic to spring that onto the community like that. Because, as I've said previously, we're all under a ton of NDAs, so we can't tell you what exchanges or wallets or whatever that we're listing on. But the cool thing is that, it's things like this that we can spring on the community and surprise them and be like, hey, we just got on a top-tier exchange, check this out. And it's just really, really awesome. So we'll have, I'll put it this way, we'll have more news like that coming out in probably the next few months. So it's the only thing I can say about that. We provided a update to Treasure Chest, which is a mandatory update. So we highly recommend. We want everyone to update to that latest version, whether you're using 7Cs, the old school Pirate Ocean wallet, or an older version of Treasure Chest. You all will need to update to be able to continue using the wallet, because we are hard forking on the 14th to include new code and things like that for optimizations and basically improving Z addresses. And the really cool thing about this is the fact that not even Zcash has done this stuff before. So this is probably code that they'll be pulling into their own chain at some point. So they'll actually be taking stuff from us instead of, vice versa, which is insane to think about. So huge, huge shout out to, Forge, JL, Gruel, SOSane, and all those people that were helping out with that, and, testing, including Lynch. and all of them. I mean, basically, it speeds up a lot of stuff that, previously would take a long time. Like, for example, rescanning or re-indexing, things like that, to where exchanges would take days or weeks to be able to do, whereas now it should only take a maximum of like a couple hours, no matter how many addresses they have. Or it'd be hundreds of thousands of addresses, doesn't matter. So, I mean, it's a really, really cool update. And to go the way that Forge explained it to me, which is essentially like a 5-year-old explanation, which is exactly what I love. Essentially, previously with the way the wallet rescanned and re-indexed and stuff, it would search through your transactions, and say you had 5 addresses. It would take one address, scan the entire blockchain, pick out the transactions that occurred, and just keep going, finish, and then rescan with the next address. Same process, keep going through. Imagine how that is with thousands or hundreds of thousands of addresses. Now, with the new update, basically you take all those addresses, and then you rescan once, and you pick out every single address's transaction while going through the chain just once. So the way he put it is, say you have 3 different color marbles, like red, blue, green, and there's a basket for each. So when you're scanning through the chain, you find the red marbles, and beforehand you would find all the red first, then rescan the chain again, find all the blue, so forth. Whereas now you just find the red, put it in the red basket, find a green, put it in the green basket, so forth, and just go through the chain just once. So this is just a massive, massive improvement on maintenance, especially. Yeah, on top of that, the light wallet's been updated too. Just some minor adjustments here and there, and we've noticed that a lot of people have been having issues with accidentally sending to the donation address, which confuses me as to how that happens. But either way, we remove remove that ability, so basically that shouldn't happen again. Now, one thing that I spoke to the Crypto Vigilante group about this, and I haven't mentioned it anywhere else because, well, for one, conflict of interest potentially, but at the same time, this is going to be pirate related as well, and I'll explain that in a second. So, essentially, there's a project that I'm advising called Nightlife Crypto. Right, it's a gaming project, and it's got a third party building a casino for it, and also the crazy stuff. Now, it's all on chain, and it's just ridiculously awesome stuff. Now, the cool thing, the way that relates to pirate, is that entire thing, I'm not sure about the actual gaming portion, but at least, the very least, the casino is going to be forked for Pirate Chain. So, the awesome thing is that you can literally, for example, if you have Pirate on Polarity, you can just use your current seed phrase, because the whole thing's built on Turtle Network. So you can use your current seed phrase for your wallet, log into the platform, and then just play the casino. Doesn't matter. Or if they fork the games as well to accept Pirate Chain, then from that point you'll be able to, play games by paying in Pirate Chain. So if this platform, which I'm expecting to be actually massive, gets big, it'll be a huge boost to Pirate Chain, because now instead of having to pay the native token, you can just pay in Pirate Chain and play whatever you want, or gamble, or do whatever on the platform. So that's some really, really big news, and can't wait to be able to fork that, which when that happens, it'll probably be in the next 3 months, 3 to 4 months, I would say, to play it safe. Could be a little bit sooner, but I'll give it the 3 to 4 month time frame, as I want to make sure that all the code that's written, all the games that are built are tested for a long, long period of time, with a ton of users, because that user base should be growing massive. So once that's fully tested and I'm satisfied with, no errors, no bugs, nothing, then that's when the fork will happen for all that stuff. And it's a simple fork too. It's just basically changing assets as far as what's accepted. So that's going to be some really, really exciting stuff. Also, for those of you who haven't seen the announcement for this, the newest version of or the latest edition of the Pirate Post is out. And like I always tell everybody, I highly, highly recommend everyone reads it. I mean, it's packed filled with information on Pirate Chain, all the recent updates, all this other stuff, and it's so well written. And huge shout out to Wookie about that, because Wookie's one of the best writers I've ever seen, and he does an amazing job with this every month. I mean, he puts a lot of effort and detail into this. It's great. So just to go through some of the stuff he talked about, April, we broke every single pretty much all-time high that we've ever had in every measurable statistic. We had over 12,000 unique visits to pirate.black, which is our website, obviously. And what was it? In April, we logged a whopping 210,000 unique visits. Actually, sorry. March, it was 12,000 unique visits. April was 210,000 unique visits. I mean, that increase is just ridiculous. So, on top of that, we've had tons of awesome news, like, obviously the exchange listing on Changely and Changely Pro. They're still getting used to handling Z addresses, so they pop on and off every so often, but obviously we're working directly with them, and they're getting used to how Z addresses act and how to handle them and how to maintain everything, which with the new code should be really, really easy, because that's one of the things that one of the main things we've done, because obviously want to make sure that exchanges basically spend the least amount of time figuring out how to work everything, and how, like, the amount of time it takes to do certain things, which is, like I said, the whole rescan thing within 2 hours, no matter how many addresses you have. That's one of the main reasons why we built that. Another thing I want to mention was huge shout out to Paul, who has been making some awesome videos for Pirate Chain for tutorials. He's been doing a kick-ass job with that stuff, and puts a lot of time and effort into it, So me and the crew work with him to make sure that all the proper information is conveyed, and he does the rest. He basically shows everyone how to do it by doing it himself, so you can see that in the video, and then he actually voices over it with exactly what needs to happen and how to do things, which the quality of it is just insane. So I highly recommend checking out our YouTube channel, which is where it's posted. So for any questions like that on how-tos, eventually we're going to have a massive, massive section on pretty much everything, on how to do, run a full node, how to run a light node, how to set up a paper wallet, how to set up the mobile wallet, and just frequently ask questions, how to trade for Pirate Chain, things like that. So we got a lot of content that we're going to be coming up with over the next several months. And speaking about YouTube, another awesome thing was that I'm still amazed by this. Like, just type in Pirate Chain in YouTube. There's so many videos that pop up just from people that I have no idea who they are, Like, just people that have taken notice of Pirate Chain and just actually love it, and there's a couple tutorial videos out there. There's a ton of news on Pirate Chain. There's a ton of reviews about it. It's just, snowball effect, it seems like. As soon as the ball starts rolling down the hill, starts collecting all the snow and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's how I feel like we're heading, because we're just progressing so much, especially in the growth of the community. So yeah, so some of those videos are listed on the Pirate Post, as well as some of the weekly meetings. So if you missed any, you can check them out there, or hell, even on our YouTube channel. On top of that, Lutz's R&D department has been kicking a lot of ass lately. They have a product that they're going to put into alpha sometime soon and get some testers for. Not sure if he wants me to announce what it is yet, but I'll hold off and let him announce that, since it's his baby. So I'll just go ahead and say that, Lutz has been kicking ass with a lot of his R&D stuff and producing quite a bit. So it's really, really good to see. And he's using developers that have just come into Pirate and said, hey, I want to help out, and it's just amazing to see community effort like this. And speaking about videos real quick, or going back a second, the Crypto Vigilante crew has been producing tons and tons of videos about us. So from Wrath, from Uncle, from Jeff and all them. So I want to give them a massive shout out, and because we appreciate all the content you produce for us like that. So huge thanks goes out to them for their continued support. Now, one other thing that is, it's price related, but to me it's just hilarious, because you guys know that I don't like to talk about price or anything like that, but all I want to say was we had flipped Zcash at one point last month, which was absolutely hilarious. Was it last month or April? One of those months. But either way, absolutely hilarious, because it's just like the student becoming the master, it seems like, when it comes to privacy tech. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to do a shout out for was Gruel Satinder, who's been doing a great job with his support for Pirate, and he actually created a video that's been translated to a ton of different languages, called "Why is Pirate the Ultimate Privacy Cryptocurrency?" And it's absolutely fantastic, very, very informative. And it's just great initiative that he put forward, and especially with all the people that translated. So, and one other thing that I wanted to make sure that everyone knows is that we have a store directory called armada.com, and so it's ARRRMADA.com. Seiko runs that, which he's been doing a killer job on, so shout out to him as well. And one thing I didn't realize, because I didn't check that site in about a couple months maybe, just because I've been so busy, but I went back there and holy crap, there's over 100 stores now, and stores and services that accept Pirate Chain as a payment. There's even a location, I forget where it is, but there's actually a restaurant that accepts Pirate Chain as a payment. And I think it's called King Kebab or something to that extent. And yeah, because they sell authentic Syrian kebabs and shawarma and stuff. Just awesome to see that we're starting to gain adoption, not just in, online stores, but also in physical locations too. That's one of the most impressive things that I've seen so far. Now, aside from that, the iOS mobile wallet is, I mean, I always say it's coming soon, which is it's still, being worked on. The mobile wallet's probably going to be updated. And once that's done, it's going to be ported to iOS. And then we have to wait on the iOS store to, for them to approve us, which who knows how long that would take. It could take several months. But, the process has been started. So it's just waiting on Apple pretty much is the biggest problem. So not much we can do about speeding them up at all ever, because it's Apple. What do you expect? Yeah, so aside from that, pretty sure I covered everything. So we can open this up to questions if anybody has any questions.
Okay, guys, so if there's anybody here that wants to ask questions, let us know. We're very, very fortunate today to have Forge, one of our core developers, here to answer your questions. So if you have any technical or any other questions, this is the time to ask them so we can answer them. There's over 200 people watching us live right now across Float, Discord, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So if you're in Discord and you want to speak, just raise your hand and we'll invite you to speak and ask your question.
Sorry, man, I had to reconnect.
Good.
What's up, man? What's going on, fellas?
So good. We're just ready to take some questions from people.
All right, I'm chilling.
One question is from YouTube. BP41 is asking, does the Treasure wallet support the hard fork? Forge?
5.1.1 does.
Okay, so we can confirm that the new version of the Treasure Chest wallet supports the hard fork that's coming on the 14th of June, correct?
That's correct.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And the same person is asking, does the hard fork mean one ends up with two different tokens?
No. The hard fork is really just the activation of DPoW Season 5. So it's basically our protection against double spend and whatnot. So it's not going to be changing any of the consensus rules. Oh, sorry. Let me step back. It does add some consensus rules around.
So this way,
activating,
if the price
Z atomic dexes, but as far as everything else remains the same.
Okay,
from your guys' perspective, just upgrade to the new client. You're fine.
Great. The Off-Grid Network from Twitch is asking, is the new Light Wallet a simple update replacement app?
Yeah, just replace the executable and you're done.
And KGA, I'm not going to read the rest of the numbers, says, do we upgrade the Light Wallet before the 14th?
You don't have to. The Light Wallet upgrade is mostly cosmetic. It fixes a couple of minor bugs, but the Light Wallet uses a backend that has a hard fork upgrade already done.
MM2020 on YouTube is asking if this is live, and yes, we can confirm this is live, MM2020. Another question is, sorry.
I was just going to see if Forge didn't mind expanding on that just a moment. We get a lot of questions in the Facebook community about, if it's okay if they don't upgrade the Light Wallet. And
Yeah, they
so
don't have
if you
to.
could just address that.
You don't have to update the Light Wallet. You could, I think everything from 1.03 through the newest version should work fine. They've just been incrementally upgraded, mainly cosmetic stuff. When we went from 103 to 104, there was some less cosmetic stuff, more kind of note input type changes, so that you could specify the address you want to spend from instead of the wallet choosing for you. But no, you don't need to upgrade.
Okay, no, that's perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So that's great. There is sort of another question from Quantum Matti on Twitch that he says, I'm confused on what is the best wallet to use. What is the best Light Wallet versus the Treasure Chest wallet?
That's a good question. The Treasure Chest is a full node wallet. So it validates the chain, it validates the transactions, it validates everything that a cryptocurrency should do. Whereas the Light Wallet, it doesn't. All it does is it scans a portion of the block looking for your transactions, or the transactions that belong to the wallet, and that's it. I mean, so it doesn't store the blockchain on your computer. So it takes less resources, but it exposes you to a little bit more metadata, privacy concerns, because when you submit a transaction to the network, it goes to a server. The pirate team runs a server. You can run your own server and have your wallet connect to that if you want. All the code is online in our GitHub. So if you want to do that to eliminate that risk, you can. But it's really up to your own individual risk profile and the limitations of your hardware. If you've got a pretty low low specs on your computer, and you don't have very much hard drive space, and you've got a limited CPU and limited memory, then you're probably better running the Light Wallet if you can accept those risks. And I'm not saying that there's a lot of risk. The risk is very minimal. But you will be exposing your IP address to the server, and you're going to be exposing some TXIDs that you submit to the network to the server. Not that we keep logs or anything, but that is a little bit of metadata leakage when using a Light Wallet type of client. Whereas if you're going to use the full node client, you're not going to be exposing those transactions. You're not going to be exposing your IP address. You're only going to be connecting to other nodes, and it's going to be a more secure environment. So it's really up to you. But if you want to run a full node, it's going to take more CPU resources. It's going to take more memory resources. It's going to take 9 gigabytes of hard drive space. So it's pros and cons of really what you want to do and your risk profile.
Fantastic, amazing. And listen to this. So Seven Romoski from YouTube, he just messaged to say that he gives flight instructions for R. So if you want to learn how to fly, you can actually pay in R, which is incredible. So he would like to get on the Armada website. So Seven Romoski, the best thing to do is to either contact the people at the Armada on their website, or to contact Seko, who is the fleet commander of Armada, in our Discord, in the Parachain Discord. Okay, so another question is if WAR is a BEP20 coin.
I wish Draith was here to answer that.
I think we can safely say that it's going to be a coin which is based on the Binance Smart Chain. So you will be able to trade it and to use it on the Binance Smart Chain. So any other coins that work on the Binance Smart Chain will work the same. There is another question that says that do we foresee government action against privacy coins?
Which government?
That's a very good question as well. Overall, I think what we've seen so far is that we have seen government action against privacy coins, and it has resulted to actually nothing, or if not, the privacy coins actually gaining traction and value. Was it not in Nigeria where they banned Bitcoin and the next day it went up 30% in that very country?
Yeah, I think we've been seeing various types of government action against both private and non-private coins, against the cryptocurrency sector as a whole. I don't know how successful they'll be. I mean, it's a good question. Like here in the US, I don't think that it's going to be a problem. But I don't know.
Probably the bigger it gets and as it grows, and draws more attention, then it'll be more of a concern.
Yeah, I really think that the US wants the tax income. So
Yeah.
I think they're happy with letting it go as long as they get their cut.
Exactly.
Okay, so there was another question, which is when will ARRR be available in the hardware wallet of Apollo or any other cold wallet?
Apollo, I'm not so sure. I've looked at the hardware specs. I'm not convinced that the hardware can support a Z address and building a transaction. Not that I'm ruling it out. I haven't seen a way forward yet on that, but we do have something else in the works that another one of our devs is working on. He is building a new hardware implementation. So that should be nice. I've pulled some of the code into the full node wallet that will be needed for that. But we are moving forward on that.
Fantastic news. Okay, great. Then we have another question which comes from Funk Fam. He says, do you have any plans on a DEX?
I think our R&D group is looking at that. That's not something that I have on my plate currently. That's probably a little bit further downstream and need more than just myself involved.
Okay, so basically a lot of people right now on YouTube are asking, when are we going to be available on a new exchange? And in particular, some people, said, when are you going to be available on Binance? On Binance, we don't know. But
I'm just going to say for all of that, we can't tell you.
no, we can't tell you that's for sure, but we can tell you for sure that we are working on it. And, there will be things that will be announced in the future. Okay, let's see what other questions we have. Mr. Camille 33 is asking, do you predict Pirate Chain to be available to be stored on Ledger in the future?
Well, that would be nice.
We've got a couple people in the audience that have their hands up too, Tim.
Okay, great. So let's bring them in. So let's hear from their Trinium. So Trinium, I have accepted your invitation if you want to come on.
Oh, awesome. All right. So, are we allowed to ask more than one question? Or is there just like one question per person?
Well, I mean, depends on how long the answer takes.
Okay.
Just start asking.
Okay, awesome. All right, so besides the treasure chest wallet that you guys were talking about earlier and the light wallet, what other wallet do you guys recommend?
Well, there
Well,
are.
I think that Forge gave a pretty long explanation before about that there's several differences about the two wallets, but in short, I think that the full node treasure chest wallet is what we recommend in terms of the most secure wallet. But in terms of sort of other elements, I think as Forge said, the light wallet is also a very good wallet to use. But if you want the ultimate security and you also want to support the network, then treasure chest is your best bet. Am I getting this right, Forge?
Yeah, and I would say that the mobile wallet is good too, as long as you got a phone that is strong enough to support it.
Unless he was
Okay,
asking about a third-party solution.
I'm not aware of any third-party solutions at the moment.
Correct. Yeah, there's not any.
Yep.
Okay. And then my second question would be, I guess, like, as Pirate Chain starts becoming more like publicly known, I guess, are you guys gonna start like citing, like how the other guy said, like, hey, I'll give you guys flying lessons for R. Are you guys gonna like start adding, I guess, I don't know if you guys have like a site for it, I guess, like a personal website to go to where you could start naming the places that do start accepting Pirate Chain?
Yeah, that's Armada.
Yes, this exists already. Yes, sorry, go ahead, Lofot Milk.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, that's the site we already have. It's Armada. You can just go to armada.com and you can browse those, everything. I think we have over 100 active participants at the moment.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Armada.com. All right, I guess that's it for me.
Thank you, Trinium.
All right.
Okay, let's see from IRODW. You can join us now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So my question has to do with the scalability of Pirate Chain. So forgive my ignorance, I am a little new to this blockchain. But on pirate.black, it doesn't say anything about how the Pirate Chain scales in comparison to Bitcoin. And I'm curious how the delayed proof of work compares to regular proof of work when it comes to transactions per second and how that relates to transaction fees.
Well, the chain is a proof of work chain. Delayed proof of work is a security measure.
Yes.
Yeah, so delayed proof of work doesn't have any, it doesn't factor into the transaction speed or the fees of the transactions.
Oh, it doesn't.
No.
So there's no speed cost then.
No, it's not a it's not anything that needs to be done to produce a block. If that makes
Okay.
sense. So
So
it's a
then,
trend.
so according to the white paper, which is the only place I was able to find anything technically related, it says that Pirate Chain can handle 50 to 80 transactions per second, and it has a block size of 4 megabytes. So this is just briefly mentioned, but I'm curious how you guys expect these things to change over time. So like in Bitcoin, the biggest debate is over block size, right? Whether it's 1 megabyte or 4, with Bitcoin as V infinite. I'm curious what the philosophy is in Pirate Chain on this.
That's a good question. It's not something that I have talked to the team about. I wasn't involved in writing the white paper or determining the initial parameters of the chain. And at the moment, I think we have plenty of capacity to handle our network usage. If at some point we get to a time where we need to increase that, I think we will start looking at different ways to do that. But I think we have a ways before we get there.
There is actually a scaling solution within Komodo platform ecosystem. It is called Merkle of Merkle roots, and it is part of extending or scaling any ecosystem blockchains through that solution. Well, Merkle of Merkle roots goes through the delayed proof of work mechanism and able to spawn new blockchains as work as a parallel blockchains. So those actually works, and we have tested that scaling solution back in 2018, 2019, and onwards. So the same blockchain can actually extend it to multiple parallel blockchains, and there is no limit to that. But as I understand, that solution needs transparent transactions, as to my little understanding at this point, but possibly it can be extended within a privacy-only transactions blockchain, just like in Pirate Chain. So in case you want to understand more on the scaling solution within the Komodo platform ecosystem, you might want to look at the Merkle of Merkle, or you can say MOMOM. You can search this term on Komodo developer resources, and you will find much more details over there. So for this short answer, there is a scaling solution which does not need to have just one blockchain, but there is also a solution to have it parallelly diversify that load in case we have to ever in the future. So that's another scaling solution, other than the possibility that we can think of other kind of solutions when the problem arrives to us. Right now, I don't think we need to worry about any scaling solutions problems like congestion of transactions on the network, because the block size is very good enough to have good amount of transactions and passing on the network, like verifying on the network. So I don't think so, like for a couple of more years, could be decade or more, we don't have to worry about transaction scalability issues. But in case there is such kind of situation, we already have an unlimited scalable solution, which there is no limit to scale, which we can more apply to Pirate as well as the situation arrives. So right now is not the time to worry about those things, in my opinion.
Okay, so I'm getting ahead of the curve then. Even if this becomes a problem, you guys have what it takes to scale up, so it doesn't seem like it's that big of an issue.
Yeah, I don't think it's big of an issue at this moment, no.
Okay. I think a little mention of that on Pirate.Black would be helpful, but that's a separate thing. I'm satisfied with that answer.
It's a good question, and it's would you say, well-asked question, I would say. So thanks for asking.
Yeah, I do have a second question if there's time. Is that okay
Sure.
with you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Naturally, the greatest enemy to security is convenience, right? And particularly when it comes to people joining this blockchain and this project, it seems to me that the actual process of getting a wallet set up seems incredibly inconvenient. Maybe I'm wrong on this and it's been simplified, but to me, the question is, are there plans to make it more convenient to not just get a wallet, but to, the buying and selling of fiat into ARRR seems like a critical juncture, right?
Okay, yeah. So these are two very, very separate issues, and thank you for your questions, Iro. So one question is in regards to, sort of, as you said, difficulty in getting the wallets, but do you mean, from the website or from GitHub or installation? Did you have any problems with that process?
Well, from my understanding is it's like this process of going through multiple exchanges, getting Bitcoin, and then trading it into Monero, and then going from that, the Pirate Chain seems incredibly convoluted.
Yeah, there's a lot of basically coins that will have to go through that sort of exchange process in order for you to acquire them. What we're working on right now is solutions with as many sort of different variations on exchanges, whether that would be a centralized exchange that offers a fiat solution, or whether that would be a decentralized exchange, that allows you to keep your coins, full control of your coins. We're looking at all possible solutions to make it as easy as possible for people to buy into Pirate. And Changely was an exchange that we got on board for that very reason. So it is an ongoing thing for us to try and make Pirate as accessible as possible. But just to give you a preface for before, the person who answered the previous question is Grewal Satinder, who has been a developer with Pirate, from the very, very beginning of the project. So this is why he was also be able to answer those scalability issues. Thank you very much, Ira. Let's see who else wants to ask a question.
All right. Thank.
So let's see, we have let's see, somebody's asking on YouTube at the moment, Milzino, is when could we expect an iOS wallet?
Okay, I can answer that. So right now, the current situation is the iOS wallet actually develops or builds perfectly fine and runs both on iOS simulator in development environment, and it also works perfectly on the actual iPhone device or the devices that I have tested with. There are some improvements that I wish to do on top of that, and it may take a month or even more than that to finish on those tasks as per the current pace of one developer working on that source code. There is another situation, and that situation is because I have a registered company and I need to register my Apple developer account, and there is a process involved in that. So it is kind of known that for Apple accounts, there is some strict procedure of signing up and having the accounts set up with them. So I do not have any good idea how much time that Apple will take to approve my developer account, and then after that approve any App Store apps listing. So I don't exactly have the timeline on it. So even have to guess, could be a month, could be two, could be less, could be more. So this is all guess estimations. But overall, the progress is good because the development is happening at a good pace. So whenever the application will be available through Apple app stores, either through test flight, which is by signing up or inviting the testers to test the applications on iOS platform, it will be at a good stage. Because I have those features that I wish to have in this application, those are in development. So I think it's going parallel. Even in case I had the Apple account and the situation where I could just directly publish the application, I wouldn't have published it just right now because I want those needed features to be developed and completed before fully publishing this application on Apple Store. So take it roughly about 2 months, probably around that. You can expect something, some news on some invites or something about the iOS application on App Store. So this is still a guess, not a certain surety on that it will be in this timeline. But I hope that by that time, things will be developing and people will be able to test something through Apple Store. I hope so.
Okay, that's fantastic news. Thank you very much, Grabo, for
No
this
worries.
update you gave us. Let's see who else is here and wants to ask a question. We have Bob Doe. I've just invited you.
Hey, Tim, after Bob gets a chance to ask his question, I'd like to invite Lutz, if he wants to speak on his R&D team.
Actually, it'll be good also if Lutz gives us an overview on what's happening tomorrow in the event. That'll be good to talk about. Bob Doe, your question was?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a couple of points. I was just going to say, if we were to get a pop-up notification on the website where it just suggests that people put in, a fake email address or something like that that's not actually linked to their own personal name, then they could get updates and stuff like that, information sent to them, just like how the wallet's being updated so they don't miss out, etc. And then also, just a personal thing that, the pirate chain itself is you're buying the technology. It's not so much just like any other cryptocurrency. So be patient. There'll be a time when people realize how valuable having a piece of the pie really is. And that's the point when obviously you execute your sales strategy to, make as much profit, obviously, as you can. But yeah, I just thought the thing on the website was important because I wasn't aware for a little while until I kind of had to search that there was an update required. But if people have got access to like an email service that you guys just pop out.
We do have the newsletter as well.
Yeah, basically, in terms of the email, it's a good point you're making. Our consideration so far has been that we do not want to hold people's personal information because, if we do such a thing, if we do hold people's personal information, we want to make sure that it's 100% secure. And we're not going to be, one of these silly companies that say, sorry, guys, but, our systems got hacked and we lost your personal details. I mean, as everybody understands, privacy is absolutely critical to us in everything that we do, apart from, the social media channels, which we were in, which we can't help. But otherwise, everything else that we do has to be 100% secure. So if we do find a very secure way to hold somewhere these email addresses without having the fear of them being, discovered or hacked or anything, then yes, it has been an idea that's been circulating around to introduce a newsletter. I think that's going to be a positive thing. Thank you, Bob.
Even if you put in the window that there's, you're not required to put your own personal email, and it's not recommended, but to suggest making just an email address where it's not linked to your own personal name, but you can still get access to it. That might be just a recommendation that you could put in the pop-up window so people don't feel like, because that's right, the whole thing is privacy. People don't want to necessarily give their own personal details out, but they still want to receive like a regular update.
Yeah. So we're definitely looking into this, and we'll try to make it happen if we can.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Also, Tim, just in the spirit of the pirate community and just the way the project is run, we can always encourage others to, if you think that you can help out with the cause of things, and that's something that you can do, then take it on yourself and run with it.
No, absolutely. We encourage everybody to to carry out initiatives and to help the pirate chain to help in any possible way that you can.
So what's up, guys?
What's up, Lutz?
Chilling,
Hey,
man.
Lutz.
Another day. So the event's tomorrow. We have Shitfest going on for a couple days, and then we have
You mean
the
shitcoin?
Bitcoin. Yeah, Shitcoin Fest. And then Drake will be taking my place also at what's it called? Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin Miami, I think it's called. It's a really huge Bitcoin conference, and that'll be over a couple days, I believe. So, I mean, we pulled out all the stops. We have photographers. We have video. I mean, people are gonna know this happened now. So we have Benny on the job. If once Benny is on the job, you know that it's gonna be a good job done. We'll make headspace over there, and I'm happy to have other people like Dre able to fill in for me when I can't make it. We also have Pork Fest coming, guys. Pork Fest is going to be huge. There's been over 30,000 already invested in it. We have 5 RV spots consecutively. We have a stage. We have musicians coming. We have drinks being served. We have models. It's going to be. We pulled out all the stops. So Pork Fest is going to be huge. And if you got the tickets, congratulations. Because from what I heard after what they saw us do, they sold out. We were going to do fireworks too, from what I understand, but apparently that was against the rules over there. So,
That's awesome.
Benny was like, "We could do them in the street. All you have to do is worry about the cops." And I was like, "Nah, man, I'm not getting arrested in New Hampshire. Haven't you ever watched My Cousin Vinny?" So, yeah, so we got those events coming. There's another huge event coming. I'm not going to mention it yet till it's secured. But it's a huge hacker event, and I'm hoping to have a speaking spot there as well. As far as events, that's about it. I mean, those are some. I mean, that's a lot. You know, we never used to do events like this. I mean, our biggest event last year, what was it? Even the year before that was Pirate Festival in Cayman Islands, which was also a great time.
In Acapulco.
Yeah, and Acapulco was pretty recent though.
Yeah.
And also keep in mind, in Acapulco, you know that's going to happen again. They have a different structure, and it's the price is a bit steep, so I'm not really agreeing to it just yet, guys. If I do, they want to do something over 10 months, and it's going to be like one talk a month and a certain amount you have to pay per month, and I'm like, all right, this is getting a little too crazy, right? You know, last year it was just $5,000, man, and we were sponsors. So anyway, you know, we got lots of people thinking about this stuff, guys. So I'm happy we're doing them. Did you want me to touch on anything else, guys, other than events?
Yeah, I guess Drath had mentioned that you just some updates on your projects from the R&D team. If there's anything you wanted to cover, he didn't want to steal your thunder, so he's gonna leave it up to you.
Well, Rum Runner is being worked on right now. I don't know if it's going to be a great solution. He says it works with Dex P2P, and it works safely. I'm not really too sure about how from what I understand from what he said, it works with WebRTC, and I'm not really that familiar with what kind of meta leakage could occur from that type of technology. But keep in mind, anything that comes out of the R&D team, it's not for you guys to use yet. These are just like teasers, right? The main team have to still, I'm going to take it, I'm going to bring it to the main team, and I'm still going to get them to check it out, because we have people on the main team that do not, that R&D cannot, still don't have those kind of shoes. You know what I'm saying? They like Mr. Lynch is like the best security expert I know, right? And you got JO, the best security and C++ and business mind. You got like there's so many great people on the main team that I want them to see it. You definitely want them to see it and to check it out and to play with it and to say what's wrong and say what needs to be fixed, right? That's what an R&D department is for. Right? So they throw it back, fix it, right? That sounds good. I like that. That's a nice back and forth and people working with each other. About specific projects, we got Pirate Visor. I have 2 devs that I just brought on. What was it? A couple months ago? Couple months ago. Man, they took that operating system and they're like, we're fucking running with it. And I was like, well, okay, go for it, right? And I'm like, all right, let's see what they do. Man, dude, these guys, they thought of everything. They are so good at what they do. Even Mr. Lynch was like, yeah, good job, blah blah, right? So I'm happy, dude. I'm happy people are working. So we got a visor being made, which will garage all the operating systems. And the operating systems will consist of things like Ghost Ship, which is just a secure way to boot up your wallet, and then you got the Dreadnought OS, which will probably change the name again. Till we like it. That was thought up by somebody who's no longer here. Dreadnought OS will not be Windows PE anymore. It's the same guys building the Pirate Visor. I think I'm going to trust them now to build everything, because that's how good they are, right? I don't want to be experimenting too much with especially Windows. Even though WinPE sounded like a great solution, could be still a great solution for other things. Nothing's ever off the plate. We got a couple people porting, doing some porting for like Trezor and Nano. Well, actually, one person, sorry. And let me see. I'm just going through each one by one, guys. Give me a sec. Deadlight is Mr. Teebs. He's working on some cool stuff with metals. Tracer, phone, board DeFi. We're getting we're getting integrated indexes. That's a few channels in here in the research and development Discord, and that's Portal, Ergo, BTDEX. We're looking for Thorchain as well. And that's about it for now for integrations into other coins. Yeah, Rumrunner, Pirate Pay. I haven't heard from Ratstang. I'd like to reach out to him as soon as I get a chance. But from what I understand, somebody else has taken up a role to make Pirate Pay even easier to use, and I'm happy he came to me with that. So you can see there's like they're all very different people. Also, you have to keep in mind some of them don't just like to work alone. So this is like a breeding ground. If anybody has a question, they could ask it. This is just for Pirate and Pirate Technologies, of course. But if you could work with us back and forth and you could tell me about it, we could do business. Jump in and, let's get a synergy going on, right? A synergy where we could help each other.
Let's take a couple of last questions. Handex had a question.
Yeah, sorry, I joined a bit late. I don't know if you answered this question already. So about the atomic swap and VAR, do I understand it correctly that there are like 1 or 2 transaction fees and a 1% fee for VAR? Or do I misunderstand this? How atomic swap
Yeah, I
works?
think you're misunderstanding atomic swaps and war. War is not an atomic swap technology.
But isn't it used in atomic swaps?
No.
Okay.
No, not that I heard of. No. So yeah, think of war as a wrapped Bitcoin, like the way they wrapped Bitcoin. You could wrap any coin so that it works on those visible DeFi networks, which I'm not a fan of, right? But those atomic swaps work on a chain level, right? So they don't need to be wrapped atomic swaps. That's what makes them special. They could work just as is.
But for example, you can swap directly Bitcoin, so you need this wrapped coin, right? If I understand correctly.
If you're something on the Ethereum network or Binance Smart Chain, then in order to transact in those environments, you transact only with what they call wrapped coins. Wrapped
Okay.
coin is the same coin, but in a different format so that it can be exchanged and traded on that native, blockchain, whether that would be Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, or another chain that does this kind of things. And it also gives the ability to the coin to have a smart contract, which allows for other functions such as staking and other things you can do under, DeFi. So that's what WAR is. Atomic swaps is a different technology which allows for the swap between of coins in an environment such as atomic DEX or pirate DEX or whatever it's going to be called. This exchange that is being built, where you will be able to exchange, the actual coin R with, a lot of other coins by holding, the keys to your wallet and transacting directly with somebody in a peer-to-peer fashion without sort of a centralized entity controlling your coins, or without you using some kind of pseudo coin from that centralized exchange to do your transactions within the exchange.
Okay, because I thought atomic swaps just work on Ethereum based networks. So this is probably where I'm wrong.
Yes, atomic swaps is a different technology to that
Okay.
technology that Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain have.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
There's some good videos on YouTube about atomic swap technology that definitely encourage people to go watch so they understand.
Okay, let's take one last question from Mark Anthony. Mark Anthony, if you want to come on board. The other question that has come from YouTube is, where are we with atomic swaps?
As far as I know, everything's ready to go on our side. At least what Draith said is that we're basically just waiting for the Komodo guys to get their stuff in order.
I think it's been worked on. Basically, I think that's the best way to put it. And we're waiting to have a version of atomic swap technology available for our at some point in the near future. Mark Anthony, you want to ask a question?
Hi, how are you guys?
Good, and you?
Good. Quick question. I was just wondering, those ATM crypto machines there, Bitcoin ATMs or whatever?
Yep.
Is there any plans to be in any of those, or if there was a way to get into those, who would I be able to speak to for that?
Sorry, you mean for R to be on
a
one
Bitcoin
of those
ATM
machines?
machine? Yeah.
It's actually open source. There's a company that makes one. It's got like a fancy name, I forgot, but it's on GitHub. I mean, it could be done if somebody had the I guess the porting ability, or whatever's needed to get the code in the
Because I have
in
a
their
friend.
GitHub. Lamasu, that was the name of it. It's called Lamasu.
Because I have
I
a
think.
friend of mine who actually has like all of Canada and a couple of other little countries. So when I see him, if ever I can convince him to put R on it, would that be an interest to you guys if he were to say yes type thing? Or
Well, it depends. If he asks for money, we're gonna have to think about that.
Okay, no, just wondering if it would be complicated to do. I didn't see him yet. That's why I'm just asking you guys.
I really don't know how complicated it is. Maybe someone else can answer that.
In my opinion, it shouldn't be as complicated as you add pirate chain to an exchange. It is equally as that, in my opinion. And another thing will be to making sure the APIs are integrated of that ATM system with the pirate chain's wallet. There is a difference of needing to use transactions which are private, Z transactions, So in case there is open source code, which in almost every other ATM's case there is, like Lamatsu and Bitcoin's other variants of ATMs, there is also open source code out there. It just needs somebody who has those technologies. Either somebody volunteers to update those APIs and include Pirate Chain to those ATM APIs of different ATMs, it can be done. Or if there is some investor who is actually looking for some profit by making sure the Pirate is also available through their ATMs, that investor can put money and include the capability of introducing Pirate to their ATMs by including the APIs to that software that ATM runs. So in any case, if you have some person, they are more than welcome to get into this Discord. You can introduce to them in a developer chat. And any developer who is available, I'm pretty sure they will be happy to assist them wherever they can. The developers here will not necessarily do their work for them, but I'm very sure you will get ample of information and ample of support wherever you need some help in that implementation. If you have a developer or if there is some developer who wants to do this implementation in those ATMs. So they're more than welcome to come here and ask any questions they have.
Okay, perfect. And okay, so developer chat, because I should be seeing him in about 2 weeks. So then after that, I just go in developer chat and do whatever.
Developer is the best place for asking these questions. Yes.
Okay, because right now, to my impression is he just buys, puts them in whatever, I guess, a wallet that's 40 ATM, and then whoever purchases. So I don't know, I don't know the back end of it. I never asked, but just to know, like, okay, perfect. All right, well, that was pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bye bye.
Fishy, you wanted to say something?
I was just going to say for Mark, most of the time, those ATM machines are proprietary. They're ownership managed and run. So as Satinder was saying, if they need any help with node software or wallet software, direct them here. They'll find 100% support. But in terms of us doing any work on their side, no, it wouldn't happen. That's all up to them. And that's up to them in terms of us paying for it, like Lutz mentioned. No, I mean, if you go to a Bitcoin ATM today to buy a Bitcoin at $35,000, you're going to pay $40,000 for that Bitcoin. So they're making huge markups, huge premiums, huge fees. And, in terms of charging for it, no, I don't think that would be a great idea. But it all depends, I guess, on what it is, like Lutz said. So I would talk to your friend and ask him what his situation is, because I personally would love to be able to take a $20 bill and put it in a machine and get Pirate out for it, wouldn't you guys? So that's it.
That would be amazing. Thanks, Fishy.
I'm planning on opening up a crypto cafe here in New Jersey, guys. So apparently my accountant says I need a job, so I'm gonna make one, and we're gonna chill and drink coffee all day, and work on crypto. At the same time, yeah, you actually gave me a great idea. I'm gonna thank you, because putting an ATM machine there would really make it a more Pirate hotspot.
So you're gonna make me travel 20,000 miles across the world to drink a coffee?
Me, just for the coffee? You didn't even say to see me. I'm the special reason why you would come here.
Of course, dude. Of course. Okay, one very last question for imagination, because we've gone way over time.
That's not even a question. I just want to say that we got back to $1 billion in market cap and are onwards to $1 trillion, mateys.
Thank you very much, imagination, and thank you for all the support you're giving the project. We appreciate it.
Cheers, bro.
Okay, everybody. I think this went on for a little bit over tonight, but I hope you all enjoyed it. So thank you very much for coming here and taking part in the monthly meeting in this version. Drith couldn't be here to present himself at this version because he's traveling to Miami to present in a conference there. But thank you so much for everybody else who came on board, and especially the developers, Forge, Grewal, and everybody else who spoke today and helped us out. Have a lovely night everywhere, or morning or evening, anywhere you are. And hopefully we'll see you same time next week. Take care, pirates.